The Festive 500, a harebrained scheme created by a man who was sick to death of having to spend time with his family and especially his mother-in-law at Christmas time. He was sick to death of having to feign surprise and delight at yet another Lynx Africa gift set. This man simply wanted to ride his bike. He'd spent all year working a job he hated for those 2 weeks off over Christmas, and he'd be damned if he was going to spend it playing board games, watching terrible TV Christmas specials, and watching his in-laws falling asleep at 3 p.m. Not being a professional rider, he couldn't quite use the excuse of having to go out on the bike. So that was out of the window. And after spending most weekends out on the bike with his friends, simply telling his other half he would be spending the festive week on a bike wasn't going to fly. He needed a reason to ride. And in that moment, the Festive 500 was born. A challenge within the cycling community that forces him on the bike. He now has to ride the bike. Now, to make this sound more official and not something he thought up whilst he was on the toilet, he called one of his mates at Raffle, who mocked up a quick email, he showed it to his wife, and lo and behold, it worked. The Raffle Festive 500 was born, and the challenge was simple. You had to ride 500k between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
And here's the story of mine. Alright, 500k to go. First ride, Christmas Eve, early morning, misty as hell. And this pretty much set the precedent for the whole week. The weather was crap. This was probably the coldest day though. Luckily it was dry and it didn't actually rain, but God, it was just grim. It did clear up as I headed back towards like Matlock area. I can't remember where this was. I did see some sort of famous steam train though. It looked like an old school one. I mean, I couldn't give a toss about it, but I know a guy who'd love that. See, I told you. Bloody loved it, didn't he? Bang. 66k in the bank, in the hills. 430k to go. Feliz Navidad, everybody. It's Christmas Day. And obviously, it's time for family and all that jazz. But when I did get an hour to myself, I jumped on Zwift, headed to Tempest Fudget because it's bloody flat. Got the old time trial bike out, but made a massive schoolboy error. I didn't realise, but I spent half of the ride using my lightweight wheels. I mean, come on, Pritchard, you should know better than that. So a quick pit stop to get rid of the lightweight wheels. They're not helping me at all. I probably lost 3 or 4k using them for the time I did, but got the old zips out, didn't I? Deep section front, disc rear. Vroom, 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 vroom. They should have that sound effect as Zwift, shouldn't they? When you've got the disc on. Nothing finer than that sound. Anyway, hop back on the bike. And managed to get like 40k in just over an hour. So that was decent. I mean, it looks like I sailed out to sea in a beautiful pea green boat there. But those that know Zwift know that I didn't. Another 40k down. Come on. Boxing Day, 394k to go. And once again, the order of the day, shitty weather. It was grim. I did, however, go over and see my mum and dad. Saw Santa there, look. It's like a 60k loop, but I think I ended up doing a bit more than that. Can't quite remember what I did. Oh, there you go. 90k. I did 90k. Almost 4 hours of riding. That's pretty decent for me. The order of the day, plenty of snot rockets and lots of spit. Disgusting. I tell you what, though. I did feel, smug AF, really. Because after every ride that I did during the Festive 500, I cleaned my bike. And you know what? There's no better feeling than opening that garage door and seeing that bike fresh and clean, lubed up and ready to go. You know I love nothing more than a good lubed up bike. Oh, and if before anyone says you used a jet wash, it was a muck-off jet wash. And don't worry about that clamping of that top tube. It was only loosely clamped. All right? Sprayed it down, wiped it down, lubed it up. I mean, come on. Look how smug that face is. Bish bash bosh, 90k down, 304k to go. So, 27th of December. This road and this loop I did back in July of 2020. It's a 100k loop. And I did this in a video and it was titled something like, how easy is it to do 100k or something like that. But basically I'd done no training and I wanted to see if I could complete 100k. I did. In fact, this is the footage right here of it. Ready? Hesh. Boom. This was on exactly the same road that I've just been filming on. but clearly the weather was a damn sight different. Even unzipped my top at one point. I did, however, try and get this cool little shot. I mean, in real life it looked great. The train going past me across the level crossing, but when I got there this time, there was no train, there was no sunshine, there was no blue skies. It was, again, cold, damp and horrible, and there was cars. See? I did, however, see a fan at the level crossing, so there was a guy here just stood here. I think he was waiting for trains, but he saw me and recognised me.
Goosebumps all over my body.
Bless him, he was well happy to see me. But after that ride, I picked up a bit of a mechanical. My Vittora Corsa tyre decided to delaminate. I guess that's the term for it, right? The rubber came away from the carcass. It meant that the Festive 500 was in jeopardy. Oh my God, what are we going to do? No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I ticked off that 106k I did on that ride. So all that was left now was 198k. So my Festive 500 was now in doubt. Was I going to get back out on the road? First port of call, 28th in the morning, was Zwift. How far am I going to have to do on Zwift? Ended up watching a bit of Mr. Robot. I still need to finish that. It's a cracking series though. But luckily, oh, what's that? Oh, look, it's a package from Amazon. And there you go, brand new tyre. Ordered it in the evening, got it in the morning. Bloody perfect. So this tyre, right? I went to the local bike shop, and I want to support local bike shops. But I checked the price at the local bike shop, checked it on Amazon, 20 quid cheaper. I love local bike shops, but I love my own bank account even more. So that meant, in the afternoon, put the new tyre on, got myself out there, and look at that. The first time this week that we saw blue skies. I think it was the only time as well that we saw blue skies in the end. But yeah, well happy with that. So 30 kilometres in the morning on Zwift, and then 41 kilometres, I think, out in the real world. Amazing. And this is a random shot of my spats. I love them. They're amazing. So there we go. Down now to 126 kilometres. And you know what? I thought I could probably do that in one ride. So the goal was to try and complete 126k on this day and have my Festive 500 done. As I'm popping my helmet on here now, I'm a little bit apprehensive, I'm not going to lie. Can I get through it? Can I do it? Can I do 126k? It's been a while, and I've got some decent mileage in the legs already. Weather was a bit cold, it was damp, but it soon didn't take long to go from damp to absolute shit weather. Torrential rain for the first hour and a half. There was floods, there was standing water everywhere, I was cold, I was wet. This was an hour into the ride. Look how pissed off I am. I'm thinking, can I take a shortcut across to my mum and dad's? Can I just turn around and go home? But I needed to finish this. Physically, I felt fine. I was just cold, I was wet, my feet were soaking and my hands were soaking wet. But there's going to be times during this year when I'm going to have to just grind through it. So I thought, what better way to get into that spirit and get into that mindset than just to get through this one? I could have easily turned around, but no. I was seeing this one through to the end, and lo and behold, I managed to do it. This is me just getting off the bike. Obviously I set up the camera because, you know, that's what YouTubers do, right? Set up the camera and then make out that this is the first time they're doing this. I even took my helmet off and put it back on. But anyway, this was me kind of done and dusted. I finished, I think I did just under 130k in the end. There you go, 128.73. 1,400 metres of climbing, 5.25 hours. But yeah, raining. And I was done by this point. I'd finished my Festive 500. I was well happy with myself that I got through that one. Not necessarily the whole 500. It was that last ride. Fatiguing my legs, starting to just crack a little bit mentally. And the amount of times that I could have turned around, I must have gone through at least 10 different scenarios of what I could have done. But each time I came back to the same thought. Just get through it, you pussy. Stop being a knobhead. Just do it. Because by the time you get back, you're going to have wished you did it. So just do it. Stop being a fanny. And that's what I did. Look, them eyes there, they're the eyes of someone that's just absolutely done something. I mean, it's not the greatest achievement. It wasn't the hardest challenge in the world, was it? But for me, you know, it was pretty difficult. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. 126k done. All that was left was absolutely sweet FA. Festive 500 was done and dusted. Oh, and if you want to see just how wet my socks were, check that out. That was just after the ride. They were like that from the first hour. In fact, they were probably worse than that after the first hour. It was grim. My feet looked like an old man's scrotum. But after this Festive 500, the only thing to do now was to run a warm bath, get some salts in there. It smelled of lavender and that. It was really nice. And just relax. My Festive 500 was done and dusted. Days.